Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. This video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how I heard, first somebody in the attic, and then I figured out that they're coming up from the ground, from a tunnel, up a wall into my attic, and I believe there is probably a false ceiling up there, and so they're literally sleeping there. And what that allows them to do is come and go all they want, to sleep here without paying rent, okay, and so that rent's about $2,000 a month, and this is a big saving. So I'm going to go through everything how I figured this out. Okay, here's an older video, and what I want to show you here is I actually caught the noises on camera one day, and that's really kind of hard to do. I also put cameras in the attic, proved they were hacking it. That's a whole nother video. But I'm going to just play a second of this, and I want y'all to listen. I was taking a bath, and I sneaked the camera in the bathroom while I was taking a bath, and I was hoping I would catch them, and I did. Now listen. Hear it?
What are you doing?
And so then the name of that video is Talking to the Burglar, and so it was a burglar in the attic that made that noise. And I heard them today. I've heard them, I reported this a year before. And what happens is, I figured this out, okay, is, I'm going to show you here. It is, here's my first police report right here on the left, and that was November 9th. 2010, and in that time I just reported somebody in burglary in my house. I noticed that somebody had been in my house. I called the police and noticed this A. Corson and Stephen Truex were the police officers that were dispatched to my house. Okay, and then a couple months later, here on January 8th, 2011, okay, this time it was the first time I heard somebody in the attic. It says, can hear the noises. He blocked the attics so they couldn't get out. Complainant is holding his 9mm and in the closet with a shotgun. I was scared to death, rightfully so, now that we know these are cold-blooded killers using the Midland Police to murder the innocent homeowners, crime victims that are reporting crimes to them. And once again, A. Corson, Michael Chandler, and Bradley Alexander. And Chandler was the husband of April Chandler, one of the secret police. But Corson was the one that made this statement at the bottom. Complainant 1096. He called me crazy, and I was like a 26-year company man, homeowner, granddad, and I had a burglary. I was a crime victim. And on the very first call, complainant possible 1096. Well, what I figured out is that's what they do to all of the crime victims. Okay, I'm going to let you listen to another one. I started, after I was shot with burglar alarms going to the attic, I started hearing calls on my police scanner. Here's one of them. I want you to listen to this. 1096. In her attic. Okay, and there was a whole bunch of them. And that's what they're doing to all of the crime victims. The police department, Midland Police Department, is falsely labeling the crime victim as crazy when they report these crimes, which is a felony burglary, is what it is. And I believe it's probably connected to human trafficking. Okay. All right, I'm in my garage. I want to show you here. Here's one of the attic doors right here. And one of the first things I did was bolt the attic shut, the doors shut. There's two attic doors, and so I was suspecting. I wasn't suspecting they were coming from the ground up a wall. I mean, I thought they just coming in a normal way, and I bolted the door shut, but I was still hearing them. Another thing I did was, after I was shot, I bought one of these endoscopes. It's a camera with a snake camera, I call it, because you can bend this flexible. And I drilled holes in my ceiling, and I stuck the camera up there, because I was on crutches at the time, and that was the camera that I saw a guy in my attic, and my doors were bolted shut. Well, how did he get up there with the doors bolted shut? They're coming up a wall. That's what I figured out. They're literally coming up a wall. All right, and here I'm looking at a police report on December 19, 2012, after I was shot, and the Vivint alarm system in my attic dispatched the police to my house. Okay, not me, the Vivint alarm system. Okay, he's afraid somebody's in the attic. That they dispatched in Kevin Bullard, Chad Simpson, and Stephen Bracken. Okay, and Chad Simpson was the cop that murdered his wife and killed himself in 2014, and he was one of the secret police. I just didn't know it at the time. I had a reward offered for his identity. But here, Stephen Bracken writes on the report, no, child, it's him. He thinks there are people in the walls. No, I didn't. At the time, I didn't. Now I'm sure of it. That's how they're getting in. That's how they're rigging this home. I think not just my home, but all the many homes with people in the attic. They're coming under the home up a modified wall. Okay, now here, let me show you a little bit more about, I was talking about Chad Simpson, okay? And here on the secret police, when I was in the hospital and the police tried to disable my camera and accidentally started it. And when I come home, I found these pictures. Well, I found this picture, Midland K9 police officer right here. Okay, I didn't know who he was. I posted on Facebook December 13, 2014, this rape and murder story about the girl at the Underground Oil Show party that police were at that didn't want to prostitute, and then she didn't wake up, that was murdered. That's what that story's about. Okay, and I posted that along with this picture of this secret police, Midland K9 police officer. Well, here, 2 days later, this guy, Chad Simpson, murdered his wife, Sandra Simpson, and killed himself, a Midland K9 police officer. Well, that was the guy that was in my house, that was dispatched to my house. When they come over, says, he thinks people on the wall. And I think it was actually Chad, when I was sitting there telling them that day, I was showing them the evidence, and Chad, almost sad, kind of tells me, buddy, I'm the low man on the totem pole, and that's what he's telling me. I can't do nothing about this. I wondered if they didn't murder Chad. I heard he was a good guy. And Naylor, well, he died 2 months before him, and he was also one of the secret police. Okay, because I saw a guy in my attic, 100% young Hispanic guy on camera, on that snake camera, and my doors were bolted shut, that's when I knew they were coming up a wall. I created a wall map. That's what this is my home and every wall in my home. And I went around drilling holes in my walls and then sticking a wire in there and measuring the depth. Because most halls, there's not enough space for a person to crawl up. So basically, you find the wall that has crawl space, you find the tunnel. But the problem there is that you find armed and dangerous criminals backed up by a large group of police that murders the homeowner. They're the ones that are smearing the names of the homeowners. And so I want to show you that wall map right here, and also where I was shot in my home, right outside the garage there. Okay, I'm in my garage again. I'm going to show you. This is one of the holes that I drilled, and what I did was drill that hole. And then I put the shish kebab deal wire in there, and I measured the hole depth. One time I went all the way to the outside, through the brick on the mortar. It went through the mortar and it come on the outside of the house. But basically, a person can't crawl up that wall. I marked it off my wall map, going, they didn't come up that wall. And I figured once I found it, then I found the tunnel, and that was the entrance to this house. But then I was worried they were going to kill me. Okay, here's my fireplace, and what I want to show you here is that this is one area or place that it wasn't, I couldn't easily drill a hole and check it. Okay, it's next to the fireplace, but I did do measurements, and I figured out there's plenty of space here. If they come underground next to the fireplace chimney and went up into the attic, into like a false ceiling up there. The other thing about this fireplace was, when I first bought this home, they were burning wood in there. I took all the wood out and I put gas logs in it because it had gas pipe to it, and I popped it up, and I could never get gas out of the gas valve. Okay, and up at the top, the gas comes connected and goes down the wall on the right hand side right here. It goes down, and I wondered if they didn't cut the gas line off, take it underground, and then that way they could steal gas from me. Because that's really what a lot of this is about, is stealing from the homeowner without them knowing it. And I was here 2 years before I even figured out they were here. I figured they're in many homes, and the the homeowner doesn't even know it. I'm going to show you the outside of the fireplace. Okay, now I'm outside looking at where the fireplace box is. And like I said, the chimney stack is on one side, and that leaves the whole other side open on the side that the gas line's coming down. And I'm going to show you this. Here, I'm going to back out here in the rain. And look at the top where it gets narrow, and it's wide at the bottom. Okay, and so, you know, well, up there in the attic. So it's real possible they crawl up here on one side, and that's how they're getting into a false signal in the attic. Also, on the concrete here, you can see where it's broke here and it's broke here. I'm gonna back up. See, it's broke here and here, like a tunnel is right there. Okay, this is the video I just did from my attic, and I want to show you something while I pointed out. Okay.
Make a video, but
Okay.
You see them two support brackets right there by where the fireplace is? That's where the racket
Okay, that's where the fireplace was, and that's what I was pointing out right here. It's a fireplace where it gets wide, it goes narrow up into the attic, and these support brackets, when I first bought this house, were laid over. The home inspector found it. It's on my home inspection report. It was repaired in 2008 when I bought this home, and I think maybe that entrance, like I said, all the spaces on one side, that's where also where the gas line goes down, and like I said, I can't get gas out of the gas line. And I've never had fire in my fireplace because of that. Okay. On another day, my friend Jordan was here, and we were putting motion detectors in the attic and working. And here's a video from that day. Okay, burglar alarm goes off in the attic. We're here. I'm gonna let you listen to it.
Again, second time today.
You can hear it in the background on this video. Okay. So then I've got cameras in the attic.
Okay, we got a burglar alarm going off. I can't see it. There it is right there. Okay.
Look at that. Look at that insulation.
Should be over here.
You see all that insulation falling?
It is falling in.
Yeah.
How come we
See
don't-
it fall in there?
Yeah.
See it? And that was a camera that was mounted in the attic. Now keep in mind, why didn't you mount cameras? Well, I did, and I proved that they're hacking them. That's another video. But I want to show you that was a windless day, and there's dust falling from the ceiling down in front of that camera, and that's why I'm thinking might be a false signal up there. That would allow them come up that tunnel entrance, and they can only come up a wall that has enough space, and then get up there, and then there's a sleeping space up there, and then they, still heating, cooling, electricity, and shelter from the homeowner. And then when the homeowner reports, a burglary, a felony burglary, the police, knowing this is going on, calls them crazy and don't tell them about all the other homeowners it's happening to. Okay, knowing that they're not coming in a door, they've got to be coming up a wall, then I'm looking for a possible tunnel entrance. And I want to show you here on Google Earth historical maps. You can go to Google Earth right now, look at the historical maps, you'll see it. At 3:31 at 08, I don't see anything in the backyard of the neighbor's house, but there by 12:05:09, there it is. You see it? That's what I think is a possible tunnel entrance in the backyard, okay? And then when I started posting pictures of this after I survived a murder attempt by being shot by somebody under my home, then I found this in 2014. It was still there, and then it was taken out by 2016, and so probably around 2015 it was taken out after I started posting pictures of it. I think that's a suspected tunnel entrance. The other suspected tunnel entrance I found was behind Home Depot, coming directly to my house right at my den, and you can see where they cut the asphalt right there, okay? I showed Homeland Security this in 2019, and 2 weeks later, they poured concrete right there. It looks like Homeland was covering up a murder attempt, capital murder attempt. All right, so let's recap. I heard somebody in the attic. I reported to the police, called me crazy, right? Then a year later, I'm ambushed and shot with burglar alarms going off my attic. Okay, I was putting cameras. I figured out their hack. I proved that, but I was using that snake camera after I was shot, and I was still on crutches. And I saw a guy in my attic, and my attic doors were bolted shut. That's how I knew that they were coming up a wall, and I believe from a tunnel. Okay, in the backyard's one of the underground homes, and we already know that too. But I found 2 suspected tunnel entrances. One coming from that neighbor's house over there, the extremely rude neighbor that lives next door there. And after I started finding proof of it and posting it on the internet, they took it out. you know. And then I found the one behind the Home Depot. I believe it was used for the oil show parties. I showed that to Homeland, and they poured concrete, you know. And the crimes are still going on at my house. I mean, last night I made that video, or not before last. And I'm still contacting law enforcement, still contacting. I just recently wrote the Mayor Blong, and City Councilman Corrales, and a couple other ones, and you know, and I'm begging them to do something here. You know, this, I don't know how I can get more dangerous with these police that are corrupt. Let me show you pictures of them. Okay, and okay, here, that's not the one. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, here's the secret police that got, you know, they tried to disable my security camera when I was in the hospital after being shot with my phone lines cut, and they accidentally caught themselves on camera. That's their pictures right there. Offered a $2,000 reward to get them identified. Took 6 years, 6 years of just unbelievable terrorism and repeated break-ins in my house. Rosie Rodriguez, April Chandler, Tony Dickey, Greg Chatwell, Greg Nelson, Marty Barrett, Chad Simpson, he's dead. Mike Naylor, he's dead. Mark Gillian, Michael Glick, and John Woodward, which is a sheriff from a whole nother county, the first one that's seen showing up at my house. This is the problem right here, is these police, and might have been one of them police that was under my home and shot me. I proved that 5 police officers were under my home, and that was Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hell. Absolute lawlessness. We've lost rule of law here, and I can't get anybody to do anything about it. They're still breaking my home, and my life's threatened, and all these other homeowners. Let me show you. I've now documented over 50 other homeowners reporting people in the attic, okay? And here it is. Andrews, Austin, Bellamy, Carlsbad, New Mexico, Hobbs, New Mexico, Los Lunas, New Mexico, all of them in Midland with the addresses, many of them from the police scanner. They can't deny it. What they did was they encrypt the police channel, so now you can't listen to them anymore, okay, because they're involved in organized crime. Odessa, a whole bunch of them. Geneva, Jeter, Springdale. And what they're doing is calling the crime victim, falsely labeling the crime victim as crazy and not telling them about all these other homeowners reporting people in the attic. If this is still going on, within the last 2 or 3 days, a woman on TikTok from Virginia says the same thing's happening to me all over the country. This is nationwide racketeering, organized crime, and you can't get a police story in the nation. Actually, them secret police, that was the first time in the history of America that a crime victim offered a reward to identify police. Not a single news story in the nation. It's lawlessness.